moderator today. I'm here with Stephen Kaufman, the Chief Technology Officer of Schawk, who's going to be exploring the intelligent package today. Initially, he's going to start with a short presentation on the topic, and then we hope to get a lot of good questions and discussion going with all of you who have signed up today. When you do have a question, simply click on the Ask Moderator button on your screen. With that, Stephen, let's get started.
All right. Okay, well, I'm really glad and really excited to present today. This is a topic that's been near and dear to my heart, really going on 3 or 4 years now. And I think the idea of the intelligent package started out early on as something that was maybe in the R&D lab, maybe on the bleeding edge side, but it's really turned into a leading edge technology that we're really excited about here at Schawk, and I think the industry in general is starting to look at some of the techniques that I'm going to talk about today, and we're going to expand upon those and look at them, and then, as we said, let you ask some questions. So I think what I'll do is get right into the presentation. I'm going to move to a slide, and let's just look at the essence of a package. I'll slip here. So, so we're looking at a package that is actually a fake chicken that we created so we wouldn't offend any of our current customers. This is our Southwest Chipotle chicken. And as I look at this, those of you that are in marketing, of course we worry very much about the image on the front of the panel of the package. What's the brand equity? What are the elements? What are we saying to the consumer? All the things that the creative side is concerned with. On the back, there's brand equity elements on the back and on the side panels. As we've looked at the intelligent package, one of the things we're trying to do is create a more flexible, fluid, fast environment for our brand customers to move their products to market. And what we found has been an impetus to this is the gathering of all the small bits, the details, the ingredients decks, the nutrition facts, some of the legal elements that are right on the edge of the package if we're talking about a carton, or on the back if we're talking about a bag. How do we maintain and control those, particularly when we're talking about moving packages in high volumes? So we may be talking about not just a package or two, but a wave of 30 or 40 that we're making a major facelift to. And as we go through that process, often the industry, in the past, we've handled packages essentially one at a time. There is some templating and common shared graphic elements that work along in the process, but typically we may be trying to gather that data. What is the ingredient deck on this specific package? What is the legal claim? Has it been approved by our legal group? How can it move to production? How can we be sure that it's right? Those things happen sometimes in a chaotic and manual way because of the movement of the data from the design firms in through the consumer products companies and might be a pharmaceutical group. And then it has to proceed into what we call production artwork, then into pre-press, and then into print. And so typically when I entered the industry in the early 90s, these were discrete, individual, almost siloed steps. But what we've seen with technology is that all of these different elements are converging together, and we're wanting to know at the back end of the process what's going on up in the front. And in the front end of the process, we're wanting to know more about colors and printing and inks and information that's going to happen downstream. So the intelligent package is about a convergence of knowledge, and we're using the intelligence in the package to personify this idea that the whole supply chain is beginning to be more knowledgeable about the other components. So I'm going to move down and look at some more elements here. What I've got in the slide, it says it's all in the details. So as many of you know that have worked with packaging for a long time, there are many, many graphic elements that are all being choreographed together to present this one image to the customer. We've got essentially some photography on the back. We have, as I mentioned, the nutrition facts panel. There's a recipe on this box. There's all the different fonts and artwork that has to come together. And so if I want to automate this, the first thing we want to do as we think about automation for our individual brands is, well, what are you talking about? What do you want to automate and why? And as we look at this, let's think about it in two ways. There's the right brain components. Right brain is typically used as a metaphor for the creative aspect of the mind. And then there's the left brain, which is typically structured and mathematical. So one way to characterize the right way to automate, or the right way to look at entering into intelligent package and artwork automation, is to first think about those left brain components. So I would say things like nutrition facts, ingredients, things that I've drawn these arrows on. We're going to zoom in a moment. So one of these points to a very small, just basically the address, the web address, and a comments number of a company. And typically this will stay in about the same spot in the package, rev after rev after rev of the SKU, and the information itself is relatively static. Now it's possible the phone number might change or the web address might change, but typically information like this might remain on the package in the same spot for several years or more. And so that to me says that I can take this component, I can basically keep it static, move it into a template in the same spot, and be relatively certain if I'm using the same data time and time again that the data is accurate, that I don't need to spend as much time worrying about the data coming in. So let's take another step here. Let's look down at automation itself. So where do I get this data from? Well, as I mentioned before, today this might come in a Word document, it might be in an email, and very often in our industry it's a pickup, meaning I picked up the art from the last time that I did it, and I've now used that as a template, and I'm only going to modify or change what's new. What I want to do is move from that document-centric model. So I'm going to use a few terms here. That I would call as a document-centric model. It means that the truth of what is accurate on this package is coming out of a document, in this case, an Adobe Illustrator file. As most of you know, Illustrator is the tool of choice in the packaging market, is used in the creative space, through production art, and even really to the back end of pre-press. So if I'm relying on that document, I have to worry about version control, who has the latest one, when this went out, maybe I sent this back to the design firm and they modified it some way, but did they touch this data? Is this data really the truth anymore? And what the intelligent package is about taking the document-centric model and moving it into a data-centric model or a database-centric model, meaning I don't want to have to rely on pickups to get this information. I'd rather call out from the intelligent package, and if I personify the package and the package says, please send to me the most accurate information about me, it should then go out to a database that has this information that's been vetted by the right people, approved by legal or marketing, somebody in brand, whoever's responsible for this information, and can then bring that information in XML. I'm going to speak in a moment about what XML is, and then actually automate that movement down onto this piece of artwork. So in order to do that, the client, typically the consumer product or the pharmaceutical, would have a system of record, and that can be a database, but I would also say that several customers we're working with are using Word and Excel, and we're just taking the data out of Word and Excel. So that's still document-centric, but it is structured data typically that we can bring down and automate.